Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And this hour, we want to hear from you folks, particularly new callers, but folks that perhaps don't call every day, give others a chance to be heard. Dominic Carter here with you, 800-848-9222. The situation as far as Iran. President Trump warning the next leader, the next Ayatollah, if you will, could be just as bad as the one that just lost his life. We'll get to that in just a second. We'll let you hear what the president has to say. 800-848-9222. But Bruce Blakeman, the county executive of Nassau County, who's running for governor as a Republican, I like his language. He's a man of my own heart. And by the way, I'll be chatting with someone that's pretty close to Blakeman at the bottom of the hour, former Congressman Peter King. But Bruce Blakeman, and I'm telling you, don't sleep on this guy in the race for governor. Kathy Hochul, the incumbent Democrat, if you do so, you're doing so at your own peril. Listen to Mr. Blakeman.
The Columbia University students and faculty that posted death to America, I have one message for you. Get the out.
Well, there you go. And that's sort of the exact same language that I used as it relates to illegals, the migrants, right? And a bit later in the program, you may remember the name Laken Riley, the 19-year-old Georgia nursing student that went out for a jog and she was viciously raped and murdered. And the man that's been sentenced to life for taking her life, this didn't have to be this way. He had been arrested by the NYPD but let go. Well, the officer that actually arrested that illegal left the NYPD to go join the police force in Florida, and he was at the White House recently and commented on the situation. We will let you hear that coming up, but let's get to Iran. We see all of your telephone calls, and President Trump, this is what he had to say this morning.
Well, I don't know if there's a worst case. We have them very much beaten militarily from the military standpoint. They're still lobbing some missiles. At some point, they won't even be able to do that because we're hitting all of their carriers. We're hitting all of their missile stock. You know, they built up all these missiles over the last few years. They had a lot of them. They've shot a lot of them, and we're knocking out a lot. I guess the worst case would be we do this, and then somebody takes over who's as bad as the previous person, right? That could happen. We don't want that to happen. That would probably be the worst. You go through this, and then in 5 years you realize you put somebody in who is no better. So we'd like to see somebody in there that's going to bring it back for the people. And we'll see what happens with the people. You know, they have their chance. And we've said don't do it yet. If you're going to go out and protest, don't do it yet. It's very dangerous out there. A lot of bombs are being dropped. But I would say that would be about the worst.
Do you have someone in mind right now? Because you said all the people you did have in mind have been taken out. What do you think?
Well, most of the people we had in mind are dead. So, you know, we had some in mind from that group that is dead. And now we have another group. They may be dead also.
The President of the United States. Let's start with your telephone calls. Let's begin with Nancy, line 2 in New York. It says here, Nancy, that you're from Iran. Is that correct?
Yes. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening to you. Go right ahead, please.
Yes, I was a child when in 1977 when my parents decided to come out and have a better life for the family, and forever I'm thankful to my parents because this is the best country we live in, the best country. And people who are born here, they don't know it. They don't know it. And I just want to say that Carter started all of this Islamic nonsense, and President Trump is going to stop it. And
so are you one of the folks? Go ahead, Nancy. Go ahead. I'm sorry for cutting you off. Go ahead.
And Persian people don't listen to others. Truly, Persian people are thankful once this regime goes. And I hope as soon as possible, women have no rights in Iran. They simply cannot go to a soccer game. They cannot go to a stadium and watch a soccer game. They cannot.
Wait, Nancy, wait. Pardon me here. Did you say that women in Iran can't go to a soccer game?
Hello?
Did you just say women in Iran can't go to a soccer game?
They cannot. They're not allowed.
Wow. And why? Why not?
Women in Iran cannot sing because a woman's, a woman's voice makes men, whatever. I don't know, like their hair. They cannot show their hair. They cannot sing. They cannot go to a soccer game. All these things. Women have no rights.
Wait, Nancy, you said so. I was in the Persian Gulf, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and I noticed. I found it very odd, and this is going back to 1988. That at least what I noticed, the women walked like a step behind the men. They didn't walk at the same level. They were always behind the man. That's what I noticed. But you're telling me that women in Iran, they're not, you just said they can't go to a soccer game. You're telling me they cannot sing? They're not allowed to sing?
The men are not allowed to hear them sing. Exactly that. Right.
Okay, but Nancy, but what I observed when I was in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia and a few other places, at nighttime, the men were out at the clubs, and they're not out there by themselves. The men are not out there by themselves. So in other words, I'm saying they're absolute hypocrites. You're telling me this is still going on in 2026?
Police, of course. This is the way most Islamic countries are. That's it. Most Islamic countries are. I mean, in Iran, women can drive because they couldn't change that, because before this revolution, women had rights. They could drive. It was different. They couldn't change that. But in other countries, I mean, Saudi Arabia, they just started letting women drive.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, this is mostly with most Islamic countries, women, they don't have much rights, unfortunately. But in another note, all those countries, the Gulf countries, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, those are all Arab countries. Iranians are not Arabs. Iranians are Persians. Arabs, they attacked Iran, and they made people in Iran to take Islam as a religion. The religion to begin with was Zoroastrian.
So, Nancy, before I let you go, answer this question for me. In almost every state in America where there are people from Iran, they were out dancing, praising President Trump. Is that a fair assessment, and why is that?
Because for 47 years, these mullahs, these Islamic people that have nothing to do with Persian culture took Iran prisoners. And we're hoping that this will, look, there are 90 million people in Iran. Do all of them want a regime change? Absolutely not. There are very many fanatic people in Iran. These are the same people who overthrew Shah and made Khomeini come with the help of Carter.
Wow. Well, Nancy, thank you very much for the call, enlightening me. And again, I've been to the region, but I had no idea. I knew it was bad for women, but I had no idea that women can't go to a soccer match or they're not allowed to sing in the presence of a man. It's just remarkable. Nancy, thank you for that great call. Folks, we see all of your calls. Before we get to them, I want to focus on Hillary Clinton for a second. So the deposition that she and her husband gave on separate days, it has been released. And let's just say at one point for Hillary Clinton, it was brutal.
When you saw photos of your husband in a hot tub laying on a beach and getting massaged by other women, and you knew that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in some of these trips and these things, did it concern you at all?
I'm here not to offer my opinions. I'm here to answer specific questions to the best of my ability.
When you saw your husband in these photos with young women being massaged, what went through your mind?
I am not going to speculate.
You didn't have any feelings about young women massaging your husband?
I am not going to offer opinions or speculation about anything that I have no context for and was not there. After you learned that Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of sex crimes with kids, did any of these photos of your husband with women being massaged on the beach, did it concern you? I have no context for even answering that question. And I think, obviously the innuendo, all the rest of it.
I'm asking a black and white question. I'm not putting any leading statements into it or adjectives. Did you do anything to determine what was happening in those images or on those trips? Once you saw these photos, once you realized Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted sex offender of children, did you do anything to determine what was happening on these trips with your husband?
I don't find any of your questions to be relevant to the investigation.
What is relevant if a former president was traveling around with young women?
Well, you'll have a chance to talk to him tomorrow.
Wow. That had to be tough for any woman to be asked questions like that about their husband, and for Hillary Clinton. Wow. Before we move on, before I get to your calls, Mom Donnie, I want you to listen to what this guy is something else. What he had to say about the situation in Iran.
I may be a young mayor, but I'm old enough to remember the devastating consequences of our country pursuing regime change in that very region not that many years ago. And I know that what Americans want in this moment is peace. They want an answer to the affordability crisis. They do not want to see the bombing of cities, the killing of civilians, the opening up of yet another theater of war.
That's your mayor. It is time for a break. When we come back, we'll start with your telephone calls.
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy.
Download and subscribe
at BeBullish.com. Greg Kelly here. Donate now to toysfortots.org, working year-round delivering hope to children at Christmas time and beyond. In 2024, Toys for Tots provided over 30 million toys to nearly 13 million children in need. Donate now, please. Go to toysfortots.org. Since 1947, Toys for Tots has distributed 708 million toys to 314 million deserving children. Working year-round, Toys for Tots. Donate now. Go to toysfortots.org. That's toysfortots.org.
The Dominic Carter Show, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I am looking at my Twitter at my ex. Bob Weisberg says Hillary's responses in her deposition are a masterclass in how to not answer a question or follow and then to defer to another person. I hear you, Bob, but that has to be tough for any woman to sit there and be forced to hear questions like that about their husband stepping out at them in a public forum and an illegal maneuver in terms of a deposition. So I don't know. In about 10 minutes, I'll be talking live to former Long Island Congressman Peter King. A lot to get to. Let's start with your calls. Gracie, line 4, Rockland County, New York. Gracie, what's on your mind?
Okay, what's on my mind is I want to say something about our governor and Bruce, but I called my friend in California. She's from Iran, Persia. She came here in the 70s. So I called her up and I said, how do you feel about it? Do you still have relatives in Iran? And she's, oh, they're happy, happy, happy. Okay, so what the first caller said is 100% true. So I'm verifying it with my neighbor in California.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And what else is on your mind today, Gracie?
When she was a girl, they dressed Western, they went to school, everything was beautiful. Then when these mullahs came, it was terrible. Now, what do I want to say? Okay, Bruce has to hit her with economic issues. Now, I still want to know what happened with the football stadium, the Bills. Didn't her husband do some shenanigans to get the concessions? That's number one.
Her husband...
She wasn't going to do congestion pricing.
Her husband is a lobbyist and was involved in the deal for the new Buffalo Bills stadium. You mentioned congestion pricing. It didn't go my way, didn't go your way. A court, at least at this level, ruling with the MTA and with Governor Hochul that she can go forward with congestion pricing. The worst thing, one of the worst things that's ever hit New York.
She lied. She said she was not going to do it, but soon as she got elected, she did it. Then again, the next thing, with this Mondami and the tax scheme. Soon as she gets reelected, she's going to let Mondami tax New York City, and they might even tax us again, our income tax. Now, no cash bail. She said she wasn't going to, she'd do something to stop it. She did nothing. Now, supposedly we have no money in the state, but we still going to have a sanctuary state so we could support the illegals. That's all I have to say.
That is, Gracie, but wait, I need your opinion on something. So now, is it fair to say you're old school? I think you're old school. I am
very old school.
Okay.
Listen.
Wait, Gracie, Gracie, I'm only a minute from the break, so you got to answer my question here. The questions that Hillary Clinton had to answer about, and this is not new, about Bill Clinton allegedly stepping out, right? How tough is that for a woman? And I'm not saying you have to deal with that. I'm just saying you're a woman. Is that infuriating that she had to sit there and answer questions like that about her husband's alleged behavior?
And the congresswoman would have said, gee, were your massages better than the girls' massages?
So is it tough for a woman to sit there and have to listen to that stuff like that?
Of course. I bet ashtrays were flying in Chappaqua. Oh, come on. Oh, my God. Oh, that's a
Hey, Gracie. Gracie, thank you. Thank you for the call. Gracie, keeping it real. And it wasn't the first time we've heard this, that ashtrays, the last time we were told it was a lamp, but that ashtrays were probably flying in Chappaqua last night. Dominic Carter here with you. Former Congressman Peter King is coming up. The number to reach me a bit later in the program, 800-848-9222.
Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Saudi Arabia is very close to allowing its Air Force to strike targets inside Iran after facing unprecedented missile and drone attacks on its civilians, including incoming missiles today targeting Daman, its fifth largest city. Quote, the next 24 hours is going to be intense, I'm told. A line has been crossed.
And that from the Fox News Channel. I'm joined now by former Long Island Congressman Peter King. Congressman, how are you?
Dominic, I'm always doing well, especially when I'm talking to you.
I feel the same way, Congressman. I'm a big fan, and I say that seriously. So the situation in
I just
Iran,
wish you liked me as much as you like my wife, but that's another story. You and Rosemary,
your wife is a wonderful person. She really is. She's the real deal. But so are you, Congressman. So the situation in Iran, might this explode, and perhaps explode is a bad word in this case, but expand to something much bigger, a much bigger war involving many other countries? What's your take on this?
There's always that potential, but I think what happened now is, and I'm not trying to trivialize this, I think Iran has shot itself in the foot by sending missiles and rockets and drones to all of the other, so many of the other Gulf countries where American bases are. They thought somehow, I guess, that was going to intimidate those countries into closing down the American bases. Instead, it's given them the excuse they were looking for to join forces against Iran.
Absolutely.
And I would say Saudi Arabia is the biggest example of that. I have no doubt, I'm not part of the inside anymore, but I'm absolutely certain that Saudi Arabia was saying publicly all along that they couldn't be involved in something like this, privately telling the United States, you got to do this as quickly as you can. And once Iran fired shots into Saudi Arabia, that gave Saudi Arabia the opportunity to say that they are allying with the United States, that they are opposed to what Iran is doing. So I think that they have really turned the Gulf states against them, and Iran has. And so our position is stronger that way. Listen, there's no such thing as an easy war. Anything can happen. But I'd say so far, but the military end of it has gone exceptionally well. And diplomatically, Iran has probably done more to help us. We've done to help ourselves by attacking the other nations that at least could have been kept neutral because of the anti-Israel feeling that there is in those countries among the people. But the governments knew it had to be done. But they just really didn't have the nerve to get out there and couldn't find a way to do it. Iran gave them that opportunity.
Congressman Peter King, the Ayatollah found out the hard way that President Trump is not someone to play with. When you were in Congress, did you folks ever get government briefings on these leaders? I'm not talking about media spin. I mean official briefings on world leaders, their personalities, and who was dangerous and so on. Did you ever receive that?
Yes, when I was on the Intelligence Committee, we did. The CIA does psychological profiles on any leader in the world that really has any strength or any influence at all. Absolutely, yeah.
Wow. And obviously you can't go into private details, but in general, what are some of the things they would say? Would they talk about the quirks of their personality, what their strengths are, their weaknesses are?
Yeah, I would say, and I can keep this general, that they would look as to what drives these so-called leaders. And the only ones that I recall, the only ones I recall that they thought were suicidal were the Iranian leaders, and that Putin didn't want to get killed, Saddam Hussein didn't want to get killed, Kim Jong-un doesn't want to get killed, Chinese leaders don't want to get killed. The only ones who are willing to do that and be martyrs for the cause are the mullahs in Iran. So I think that's a factor that has to be considered. That I see that some people are wondering why, with all these rockets coming down on them and all the damage being caused, why does Iran not surrender, or why doesn't Iran reach out to make some sort of an accommodation? Is you have that added factor of the religious and ideological zeal they have, which the other countries don't have. So it's a problem for us to the extent that they are willing to fight to the death, but it also is an advantage because it shows that they are irrational and their tactics and strategy are not going to be as organized as they should be. Congressman King, I've talked to you about issues like this before, so I don't expect for you to comment.
I have to point this out before I continue with you. So I just received a tweet at Dominic TV from Jimmy Fontanez, Staten Island, and it's very disturbing. And I'm describing this, folks, because we have to be honest in terms of descriptions so that you can follow the full story. I feel that I have an obligation to do so. So it's kids on a bus, Congressman, and there's this pint-sized African-American youngster. He looks like he's about 12. I don't know. White bus driver, middle-aged white man, and this kid is just punching the bus driver, and he hits the bus driver. The bus is parked. It looks like a yellow bus. He hits the bus driver so hard in the head that all the bus driver could do was sit down and see if there was blood coming from his head. And then he becomes angry and he gets up, and this little pint-sized future Rikers Island person starts rainmaking punches again on the bus driver. I just don't understand, because when this is tolerated, then it's tolerated where these animals throw snowballs at the NYPD and think it's funny, and Mamdani defends them, and DA Bragg does not pursue assault. As a matter of fact, I didn't get to ask you about that. I know you're not surprised that Bragg did not go forward with an assault charge, correct?
No, I'm not surprised, but still incredibly disappointed, disgusted, furious. I mean, to have that type of an assault on authority on men and women who were brought there at the request of the community to restore order, and to have these goons and thugs hitting them with ice balls, snowballs, hitting them with anything. It's just the idea that disrespect is one thing. The physical harm is almost secondary to me, as far as just the disrespect and the tone it creates in the city. First of all, for the mayor to say it's just a snowball fight. As I said, listen, if there were imams getting hit in the head with snowballs, you wouldn't say it's just a snowball fight. Of course not.
It would be breaking news as far as he's concerned.
And then to have Bragg, who is looking at every opportunity he can to indict cops for the slightest infraction, for him to drop the felony charges and just drop them immediately and have this guy released. And he has a record. This guy is no saint. And by the way, they talk about kids throwing snowballs. The guy's 27 years old with a record. I mean, that to me is not a kid just having a snowball fight on the street corner. It was absolute aggression. It was terrible. And so you're seeing with bus drivers and other people in authority, unfortunately, I think we're going to see more of that because of the lack of respect and the way it's almost laughed off at somehow people in positions of authority who should be respected just become objects of derision, and people we can do insult them, abuse them any way we want. And it's going to get worse and worse, I think, and I blame it on the mayor, and I blame it on the police commissioner. I'm sorry, not the police, my God, not the police commissioner, the district attorney. I admire the police commissioner, Jessica Tisch, for what she's doing in standing up.
Absolutely. She's the only one standing up. But the question is, how long can she stand? Because one person can only take but so much. And these are the things that we see publicly dealing with this mayor. So imagine what the private things are that we don't know. Anyway, Congressman, I want you to listen, Congressman Peter King, to your associate here, to your pal, and this guy is the real deal in the race for governor. This is Bruce Blakeman. Bruce Blakeman, the Nassau County executive.
To the Columbia University students and faculty that posted "Death to America," I have one message for you. Get the out.
And obviously we had to beep that, Congressman King. He's also blasting, if you will, Governor Hochul, saying that it's un-American what she's doing, making statements that are a contradiction as it relates to Iran. And he says here, at a time when American service members are risking everything, Kathy Hochul should be supporting our troops, not attacking our country. Your reaction?
I agree completely. First of all, I fully support what the president is doing. Even if I did not, the fact is you can question whether or not this was the right time to do it and not do it. The fact is he's launching an attack against one of the most evil groups of people, hierarchy in the country that we've ever seen in the history of the world. These are evil, maniacal people. And so whether or not he should have attacked them today, tomorrow, next week, the fact is he's doing it. And now that we're there, he's the commander-in-chief. It's not as if he's attacking hospital or a nursery or senior citizens home. He's attacking an evil country. The government in that country is so evil, and to me, which is a threat to the entire, not just the Middle East and to the world, but specifically the United States. They've said that they're going to destroy the great Satan, which is the United States. And are we supposed to wait? It was like if you had a neighbor who said he's going to kill you, and he's across the street, and you see him putting together a bomb. Do you wait till it's finished before you take him out, or you take him out at the first opportunity you can? This is the first real opportunity we've had to move against Iran in a way that is maximum for us, minimum. They have minimum ways of defending themselves now. We have the maximum opportunity, and they are at their weakest ever, and this is the time to do it. But again, even if I didn't agree with that as far as the timing, I would never, ever question the United States. That would be as if we attacked Hitler in 1938 and said, we have to wait till 1939 and 1941. Maybe that would have been right. I don't know. But the fact is, you're getting rid of an evil person, and the greater good is to do that. So, no, the Democrats are so disappointing. Listen, I was in Congress when Barack Obama, and I supported him on this, when we took action against Libya, which resulted in a regime change, in Gaddafi being taken out and killed. And when Nancy Pelosi and others were saying, doesn't he have to get approval for this, President Obama? And I said, absolutely not. This is his power as commander-in-chief. So to me, how you can say it's okay when President Obama does it, but wrong when President Trump. Listen, we can have those side fights over tax issues or highway bills. They get partisan, they get political. I understand that. But when you're talking about the commander-in-chief, when you're talking about the security of the United States and the armed forces and men, American and women, men and women in uniform in battle with their lives at stake, this is the time to stand together as one.
Absolutely. Congressman Peter King, thank you so much for joining us. I find it so enlightening, your conversations, because, and I say this all the time with you, I know that you know what you're talking about. There are some people out there posturing that have no idea what they're talking about. Always a great pleasure and privilege to talk to you, Congressman. Thank you.
Dominic, thank you. My privilege.
Thank you, Congressman. In regards to your family and your wife, thank you very much.
You got it. Okay.
I want to go back to your telephone calls now, 800-848-9222. Line 4, Liz in Florida. Liz, before you begin, 95 degrees in Florida today?
Not that hot, but pretty close. It's stunning. But I know it snowed there today.
Yes.
And you're welcome to come here.
Yeah, I may have to. What's going on? What's on your mind today?
So I have several friends who are from Iran, and I'm not sure that really everyone knows what kind of restrictions they have. I mean, it's so bad over there that they, of course, have that dress code, right? And if their hair shows or something is off, there's patrols, and they can be beaten, and there's penalties. They also they are required to have male guardian permission to travel, to marry, and to work. And their laws, it depends. They may or may not be able to work in certain places. There's no divorce rights. There's no legal protection against domestic violence. Okay, so they can be beat up, and it doesn't matter. It's all for the men.
Hey, Liz,
or sexual harassment.
Liz, the first caller today said that women in Iran can't attend a soccer game, or they're not allowed to sing in the presence of a man. I mean, did you know that? This is the first time I heard this.
Well, I didn't know about the soccer game, but I did know that, so Orthodox women are not allowed to, actually, they can sing, but men are not allowed to listen to women singing. It's considered immodest. So women usually sing in front of other women, but it's so different. You can't even compare night and day. Here in the United States, women have rights no matter what religion you hold. But in Iran, there are no women's rights. There are zero. They're not equal to men. So that's why the pro-women organizations to be praising President Trump right now.
Right. I got to take a break, Liz. But, as you're talking, I'm thinking about this was the late 80s. And I saw all these, this was in Saudi Arabia and Bahrain. I saw all these rules for women. I saw them walking a few steps behind the man who I believe was the husband. But I just found it very interesting because at nighttime, frankly, when the men were creeping, they were somehow able to find women that were down with their cause. Of course, it wasn't the wife, but it was, they were able to do their little dirt. I just find it amazing and interesting. Time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And the Tunnel to Towers Foundation final thought of the day. I couldn't say it better than Patty does on my Twitter, on my X. Patty says, at Dominic TV, for every action, there is a reaction. Consequences follow that. They could be good or they could be bad. There are no consequences anymore for bad behavior. The good people do not get recognized. And so I'm thinking about the video that I just reposted on Twitter from Jimmy Fontanez. Let me find the best language here. An urban child on a school bus is punching the bus driver in the top of the head. He hits the bus driver so hard, the bus driver has to sit down. And this urban child, normally I would say this young thug in training animal, but I'm going to say for today, this urban child. And you know what's funny about the whole thing? It's not funny. It's rather sad. This little child, this little animal doesn't even realize that his life is over. He just doesn't know it yet. Oh, you the man now. Everybody's laughing because you punched the bus driver in the head. Life is about to show you a harsh reality year after year after year. Good luck with that. Let's go to Anna, line 4, Long Island. Anna, what's on your mind?
Hi, how are you? So I was listening to your program, and there was a woman who called her name was Nancy, and I became friends with the Nancy Fouladi who came from all the way from Iran to New York, and I was wondering if that was her, and I would love to know if that is actually my friend.
I don't know her last name. I look at my screen. When you folks call, they're moving the calls as fast as they humanly can. And so they put in a name, a location, and a quick synopsis of what you want to talk about. So I don't know what her last name is. It's a small world. Maybe it's your friend. What do you think, Anna, about what she had to say?
Well, I think that she was absolutely correct. I think the original colonizers came all the way from the south. They colonized the Middle East, including Iran. And Mamdani is one of those colonizers. That's why he's so against what's happening in Iran. I think it's absolutely the greatest thing ever.
Right. I mean, if you're for women's rights, if you're for human rights, how could you not be out there with the people? You out there with the Palestinians. Oh, because the people of Iran are supporting and praising President Trump. Oh, that's why. I get it. Anna, I'm asking you a question as a woman now. I'm going to go to Victor in a second in Maryland. He wants to talk about Hillary Clinton. But the deposition that she had to face, those questions were brutal about the personal life of her husband. As a woman, do you think she was mad as nails sitting there?
I'm sure it's not the first time she had to face Mr. Clinton's debauchery. I think she should be used to it. It shouldn't be a surprise at all. It's just embarrassing that it's being spelled out in front of everybody.
In front of everybody.
Yeah.
Anna, thank you for the great call. Victor, I'm sorry, we only got about 20 seconds. Go right ahead, Victor, in Maryland.
Running in 2016, I called C-SPAN and said, what man in his right mind would want to vote for somebody that reminds him of his former wife?
I don't know what you're talking about right now, Victor. I mean, I apologize, just that I'm out of time here. Born from the tragedy of 9/11, folks, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been honoring America's heroes ever since. Donate $11 a month and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org. T2T.org. I'm back live at midnight.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Rural Americans deserve access to the best our nation has to offer, especially when it comes to health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families' health. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.